Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
Nah, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories in the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defended in the corner.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass.
And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole!
Here's the give.
Walker! Kenneth Walker! Touchdown! Smarty!
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes!
Caught! Touchdown to Detroit Lions! They did it! Amon Ross St. Brown on the receiving end!
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here! A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera! He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good thirsty Thursday morning to you. It is the 28th day of September, 2023. We welcome you here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. An absolute pleasure to be with you here this morning. As we say good morning to you, we welcome you, we thank you, appreciate you, and of course encourage you. Join the program at any time. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000 Sports Radio to 21000. Our Myers Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros, and of course, good morning to our television audience as well on both BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Add a .com to that to find our website. XBMornings at gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox. And you can find us all individually on Twitter. Ben Glaze is at the Ben Glaze. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Good morning to our newest batch of affiliates in northern Michigan. 93.7 FM WKAD and 1340 AM and 104.7 FM WMBM, servicing Petoskey, Charlevoix, Traverse City, Cadillac, Houghton Lake, Bel Air, Boyne City, Northport, Galkaska, the Southern UP, Lewiston, all over the place now up north, in addition to all of our other great affiliates, whether it's 101.1, WGRY, 96.1, The Game there in Grand Rapids, Fox Sports 1230 down in Toledo. We got 1330 in Flint. It's so great. And we've got more news coming to you next week. So all good things right now. And it's an absolute pleasure. So good morning to everyone. Ben, Ryan, good morning to both of you. How are we on this Thursday?
Good morning. Excited for the game tonight.
Man, I've only 14 hours to go.
Right. Hoping tomorrow will be a victory Friday.
Well, I mean, what are the odds of that, though? I mean, 2 victory days in the same week? It's
right.
Pretty, how often does that happen?
Yeah, seriously.
Ran into a guy at the grocery store yesterday. He came in, and I was changing light bulbs. So I was wheeling the ladder around and high above the beautiful Danny's Fine Foods, swapping out these light bulbs. And guy came in, and yeah, I know who he is, and he said that he was thinking about going to the Green Bay game tonight, but he had to cancel his trip because his father had passed away on Sunday. And he's like, my dad was such a big Michigan and Lions fan. He said he watched a Michigan win on Saturday, watched the Lions win on Sunday, and then wherever he was at Sunday watching the game, he was go outside or leaving or something and fell, and that was all she wrote. And I could tell he was getting a little emotional about it. I didn't know what to do, but then he cracked a joke and he said, how many people in their life can say that they went out on a Lions win? And I said, it's a really good outlook right there. It's a really good outlook. So hopefully that guy's dad will be with us tonight in Lambeau, shining down upon the Detroit Lions as they march the Packers right off the field for the 4th consecutive victory against Green Bay. And we can look forward to a very, very exciting morning. We'll talk to Logan Lamorandier. He joins the program this morning at 7:35. That'll be fun. Mel Tucker was officially let go by MSU. So now what? What happens next? Tigers last night, that game got postponed due to the inclement weather. I couldn't believe how much it rained, and it looked like it was raining, and the fact that he went opposite field in the rain under the lights last night, boy, that was pretty cool. So it's his 4th home run of the season. As Tigers fans are working on saying goodbye to Miguel Cabrera, Terry Francona, a.k.a. Tito. He had his curtain call there in Cleveland with the Guardians last night. So there was a lot of emotion last night in the world of Major League Baseball. We'll talk about the Lions and the Packers tonight on Thursday Night Football, plus the blockbuster trade. Yesterday, it was reported that Toronto would have been in the lead for Damion Lillard. He ends up going to the Milwaukee Bucks. Details on that. I don't know about this one. I want to believe it. I want to believe that everything is going to be that's great for them. But we'll get into the details of the trade and the moving pieces and who's going where, because you're losing a lot of depth. And I thought that Drew Holiday was a nice fit. Damion Lillard, obviously, a better player than Drew Holiday, so that's a little bit unfortunate for Drew now to have to be packing his bags and be on the move. But regardless of that, like it'll be interesting to see how this Milwaukee team now tries to keep their international superstar in Giannis Antetokounmpo. And the Lions and Packers, of course, obviously, on Thursday night. We want all of your thoughts on that football game. So what you can do is you can text us at any point in the show. Use the keyword sports radio. Send it to 21,000. My biggest question is, like, are you confident in tonight's game? Are you borderline overconfident in tonight's game? I was pretty confident going into Atlanta. But I kind of felt like, backs were a little bit against the wall. Like, if they would have lost that game, things would have been drastically different today than where they're at currently. So I do have my thoughts about this game tonight. But where do you stand? What are your biggest concerns? Are you worried about this game? Do you think that we have this game? I wouldn't necessarily say in the bag because it's a professional football game. But are you overconfident in the outcome for the Lions tonight? That's what I really would like to know. All right, what else is going on in the sports world? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
Nah, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
Huge news. Robert Saleh and the players are okay with Aaron Rodgers calling out the Jets. He's right, man. You can't blow up and show our frustration on the sideline, especially on the sideline. That's what corner DJ Reed said on Wednesday. Aaron Rodgers could tell him the sky is falling, and everybody over there would believe it. Because that's what they bought into. That's what they went with. I didn't have a problem with what he was saying. What he was saying was the truth. There was no way. I didn't have any issue with that, and I can't imagine any players would either. He's doing his weekly hit. They all know that he does his weekly interview with Pat McAfee. It's not really that. I didn't think it would be even debatable. I don't even think that's like you stop a team meeting. Did you hear what Aaron said? Like, of course. Duh. Stop your outrage on the sideline. The Saints quarterback Derek Carr on his injury said, if I'm out there, then I'm good. He's got a right shoulder injury, could potentially cause him to miss some time. We'll have to see with that AC joint sprain. Jameis Winston taking snaps. I can't believe Jameis is still in the league. Austin Eckler, back at practice, said Week 4 is a possibility for the Chargers running back, so adjust your fantasy rosters accordingly. Joe Burrow and Aaron Rodgers have formed a bond over this shared calf injury in their histories there. So Joe Burrow has called upon Aaron Rodgers for a little direction here. The Blazers dealt Damion Lillard to the Milwaukee Bucks in a blockbuster 3-team deal. Portland receives Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, and Tamani Camaro, which I thought was pretty interesting. And the Bucks, because of that trade, now emerge as the NBA title favorites after acquiring Damian Lillard. We will step aside when we return. Miguel Cabrera hit his 4th home run of the season. The game was delayed. We'll talk about what took place there under the lights at Comerica Park next here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Friday, October 27th, TVs and Practical Jokers are up to their usual tricks.
If you're not here, you are missing out.
It's the Tenderloins at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Sal, James, and Brian for 2 shows and twice the laughs. 7 and 10 p.m. Tickets start at $59. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Don't miss the Drive Tour with the Tenderloins, October 27th. Party hard, laugh louder. Details at SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Tracy, over to you for weather.
Well, the sun must be shining, Dave, because the 7 for 7 sale is back at Meijer. Mix or match hundreds of items like Meijer frozen vegetables, Campbell's condensed soup, and Body Armor sports drink. Pick any 7 for just $7. There's a strong chance of saving with the same quality Meijer deals in-store or online. Back to you, Dave.
Sounds great, Tracy.
Deals so good, you've just got to talk about them. Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City. You're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. A reminder, folks, Ryder Cup is on the horizon beginning tomorrow. We'll have some details and some information on how you can tune into that a little bit later on in today's program as well. Golf season coming to a close. We had some inclement weather last night at Golf League, but you know what? The precipitation was out, and that's okay because the temperature was okay. So the Sickos committee banded together, and we got out there, and we still played in our league night, and it was sensational. Damn, we played some good golf on some holes. And we didn't play some good golf on some other holes. But that's golf. And we had a blast, and we were done in an hour and 40 minutes out there. And it like that, I'm like, I cannot figure out and we spent some times where I was looking for my buddy's ball for a minute. We were able to find it. I lost the ball just because I was hitting out of another fairway, and we never hit a ball that clipped a little bit of a tree, but nothing crazy. Didn't hit a branch, just hit leaves. And I'm coming from a fairway area that is to the left of our hole. So I'm going up over the top with a little draw. Not a problem. I'm hitting a 3-iron. It's not a problem. It's nothing out of the norm. I know that if I'm going to miss on that hole, I'm going to miss left. I hit from the left side all the time. And it's like, dude, if I just hit one straight, I have hit it straight before. I'm going driver 6 or 7 iron into the green on a par 5. That's all it takes. Lost the ball. Had no idea where it was at. But I'm not going to spend 5 days looking for it. It is what it is. That's why I buy cheap balls on the internet and just play with those. That's my strategy. There's no sense in driving around in circles looking for a goal. Dude, let's just keep it moving. It is what it is. We haven't found it to this point. It should be here. It's not here. I probably don't deserve to have it anyways. Penalize me and let's keep it moving. But golf season is coming to a close. It's not too late, however, to book your stay and play at the beautiful Tullymore Golf Resort, Canadian Lakes. Located an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. It's smack dab in the middle of the state, so it's easy to get to no matter what direction you are coming from. And the best part about Tullymore, it's not just golf. Not only do they offer top-of-the-line golfing experiences and top-of-the-line accommodations, but they also have the perfect space for your wedding event, reception, or group outing. Just visit TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play with Matt Golden and his great team over at Tullymore today and enjoy that wonderful halfway house as well. It is, speaking of sensational, my goodness, that halfway house alone is worth going to look at. All right, it was last night. The Tigers were in action. It was a drizzly, misty, mid-60s kind of night, a little humid, but at the same time just wet enough to make you feel uncomfortable. And the game got postponed, but not before this happened. Under the lights in the rain.
Another inning of work. Again, he has been a starter this year, and he might just keep going as long as he gets out. Fly ball, deep right center field. Way back in right center. Gone! Number 511 for Miguel Cabrera, deep to right center. Oh, look at him rounding third, shooting the arrow into the dugout.
Dan Dickerson on the Detroit Tigers radio network with the call of that. And Miguel Cabrera, just such an effortless swing. Effortless. And I was trying to see, it looks like the ball made it just above the yellow because it bounced back onto the field of play. Makes you wonder if we just had, regular dimensions for every ballpark, how much different that might have been. Because Comerica Park, the way that it was built, and obviously with some of the changes and everything else, it does make you wonder if that wall was a little bit closer, what those numbers would look like. And to be honest with you, it is it's been a hell of a career. I'm trying to remember. It wasn't this opening day. It was last year, if I'm not mistaken. Ryan would definitely know. Ben, you might know too. Where Miguel Cabrera hit that home run in the snow on opening day. Was that last year, 2022, or was it this year, 2023? I honestly cannot remember. But that when I saw that home run last night, it was like, yeah, that's what it reminded me of. Inclement weather. Here comes Miggy hitting a bomb, giggling, trotting around the sidelines, and what a cool way, really cool way for Miguel Cabrera. To go out, even if it is, it happened on a Wednesday, that's okay. It's his final homestand. He did hit a home run. That's pretty cool. That's worth it. Right now, the game is 4-0 as it was suspended there, and they're going to pick things up, I believe, in the bottom of the fifth today at 1:10 is what the schedule is supposed to be. Your Tigers are 6 of 17 from the dish. Tarek Skubal, 4 innings of 2-hit baseball, 8 strikeouts on 52 pitches, no runs against him. Look, first pitch strikes, 9 out of 14. That's a really good number to have. Really good number to have. Called strikes, 12. Swinging strikes, 14. My goodness. Love that for him. And for Tarek Skubal, in those conditions, to throw the ball like that in those conditions, that's really good. If they win tonight, they'll take the series. They'll take the series edge 9-3 with the late game coming up afterwards. So it'll be 1:10 on the schedule, and then obviously it's going to basically sort of operate like a split doubleheader. And no, it's not. They moved up the game time. Okay, so this is news to me. Will be 3:30 today, and then the Royals will hit the road. So we're going to finish up those couple innings, and then boom, immediately right into the next one, which I love. I love the back-to-back doubleheader. I think it's great for baseball. I think I think the guys like it too. I would be very interested to know. Sit down with Torque and be like, so split doubleheader or back-to-back? Like which one is better for you as a player? And sure, there might be some changes, some substitutions, out in the field or in the order or whatnot. But there are so many other places where they play back-to-back doubleheaders throughout their career that I feel like you don't have to restretch. You don't have to get warm or get loose again. Like you're already feeling pretty good. You've already got some swings in on the day. You did batting practice maybe, plus the first game. So I feel like that second game, man, you're just ready to rip and roar. I don't think that fatigue is too much of anything, but I'm very much intrigued by that. I think it's a benefit. So 1:10 and then 3:30 for the Tigers, and maybe we'll see some more Miggy magic this weekend. Number 511 for Miguel Cabrera. Tigers up 4-0 over the Royals. He's retiring at the end of the week. He just tied Mel Ott for 25th place all-time. Cabrera's 378th homer as a Detroit Tiger, tying Norm Cash for second place in franchise history behind Al Kaline's 399. Oof. There it is. I wish he had a little bit more. Like I've said, it's bittersweet. You want to be able to close this chapter of Tigers baseball and really shift gears to the future, that new wave of young talent that they have. But the way the last couple of years have gone, it just kind of feels like, man, you wish you would have seen him go out like on top. Instead of just being, I don't want to diminish him or make him play, make it sound like this is like a charity case or anything. But everybody knows, like he was not in the best condition to be out there. And his prior years of success definitely granted him some grace. He's still, I think he's all-time leader in batting average right now for right-handers. Like, it's pretty incredible. They put the graphic up last night. He's at the top of the list. It was like 309 or something like that. Like, it's pretty impressive. And I saw Freddie, God bless Freddie. Freddie the Pizza Man had a really good, 306 right now. The highest batting average among players with 3,000 hits and 500 home runs. 306 for Miguel Cabrera. Then it goes Hank Aaron, 305, Willie Mays, 302, Pujols, 296, A-Rod, 295, Rafael Palmeiro at 288, and Eddie Murray at 287. That's the company, and he's atop of that list. And you only had to have 3,000 hits and 500 home runs to make that list. It's pretty incredible. But Freddie says that your one favorite player in their prime while in a Detroit uniform, Fedorov or Miguel Cabrera, 91 or Miggy. Who would it be? I think that's a great question. Man. 2021, I'm assuming that's the snow game. We'll step aside. We'll come back. Mel Tucker officially let go from Michigan State. We'll talk about it next year. X's and Bros.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. He is a managing partner at Bean Garter, soon to be Dorn Mayhew, and they'll be stronger together. And did you know Bean Garter can help your business with outsourcing your payroll and other business needs that can help ease tax filing and year-end reporting, compliance reporting, human resources management, time and attendance tracking, and more. Just go to BeanCarter.com to find out more how they can help your payroll system and make your workplace that much smoother. Go to BeanCarter.com. That's BeanEnergar.com, and they can help you with all your payroll needs. Like I mentioned, tax filing and year-end reporting, compliance reporting, human resources management, time and attendance tracking, and more. All your payroll needs can be handled by the team at Bean Garter. Find out more at BeanCarter.com.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. Go bowling for bucks to win premium play prizes that are right up your alley. Drawings are every Friday in September from 7 to 11 p.m. And one lucky winner every hour strikes up to $3,000 premium play. Roll the ball and hit your lucky strike with Bowling for Bucks. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTab at FreddyThePizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email FreddyThePizzaman@gmail.com.
You're listening to Michigan's statewide morning show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. We've got Thursday night football tonight, folks, and you can get in the action. Lions and Packers at Lambeau tonight on the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 on football. Get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Nobody's missing out on the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. Get in on the NFL Week 4 action with DraftKings Sportsbook beginning tonight. Just download the app and use the promo code HUGE, promo code HUGE, and new customers can bet $5 on football. Take home $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings, only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Sports Network. By the way, it was 2021 for that home run in the snow. Was it really 2 years ago? My goodness, time flies when you're having fun. Holy mackerel. All right, I think what we need to dive into at this point now is the news that came out, and we knew this was going to happen. We knew this was happening. We knew it was coming, and this is what, this is only the next step of the process. As much as I wish that there was more to this, there was some finality to it, and we could all just move on with our lives. Michigan State yesterday officially fired Mel Tucker for cause, formally completing the process. That's, you got to complete the catch, you got to complete the firing. They sent out the notice of intent. They gave Mel Tucker some time to respond. Tucker, who was under investigation with a sexual misconduct complaint brought by Brenda Tracy, a sexual assault awareness speaker and vendor to the school. I'd like to believe that if Mel Tucker none of this would have happened, and Mel Tucker was still on the sidelines, I don't think that they're looking into trying to get out of the contract. I think they had lost some guys that makes some things questionable because some key players, and they had a little bit of a down year. But I think, and maybe Ryan would refute this claim, but I think that most Michigan State fans were still in on the idea of having Mel Tucker as the head football coach at the university. Most people, I think, were in. There's always going to be some people that hate the coach. There's people that don't like Jim Harbaugh that are Michigan fans. Ryan Day, God bless him, but there are Ohio State fans that the 49-6 isn't good enough. That is unacceptable. Now, in the statement, the university said that it had terminated Tucker's contract, quote, for his admitted and undisputed behaviors which have brought public disrespect, contempt, and ridicule upon the university. Constitutes a material breach of his agreement and moral turpitude. I've never heard moral turpitude more in my life. In fact, I don't think I'd ever heard the phrase moral turpitude until this case came out. Learn something every day, right? Michigan State suspended Tucker without payback on September 10th. The AD, Alan Haller, informed Tucker in a letter on September 18th that the university intended to fire him for cause. School opened up the investigation into Tracy's complaint back in December of 2022. There's still this ongoing, they got the ongoing saga here now with the hearing coming up in the first week of October. And the firing is going to cost Mel Tucker nearly $79 million remaining on his contract. By firing him for cause, Michigan State is attempting not to pay Tucker any of the remaining money. Heller claimed in the letter that the school had, quote, amassed a body of undisputed evidence of misconduct and warrants termination for cause. Tucker then got his attorneys on the horn. They crafted up a statement, said that this firing is unjustified for several reasons. And in a statement September 19th, Tucker said that Michigan State does not care about my rights, the truth, or its future liability for policing its employees' private lives. Heller then said yesterday the termination notice that Tucker's response provided a litany of excuses. Quote, simply put, Mr. Tucker's response does not provide any information that refutes or undermines the multiple grounds for termination for cause set forth in the notice. Instead, his 25-page response, which includes a 12-page letter from his attorneys and 13-page, quote, expert report, provides a litany of excuses for his inappropriate behavior while expressly admitting to the problematic conduct outlined in the notice. I think Mel Tucker's still going to fight it. I think Michigan State's going to be in the clear, and I think they're going to be able to move on from this. I really do. At some point. Ryan is on the Meijer Supercenter guest line. You can join us, too. This is Ryan without a mic being held down by the blue wall or the time-space continuum, one of the two. Good morning, Ryan.
I mean, aren't they the same thing?
The time-space continuum and the blue wall?
Yeah.
How we're able to travel back and forth in time to apply things that may have happened 60, 80, 100 years ago and apply them to today's team? Absolutely.
Yeah, and speaking of moral turpitude, it sounds like turpentine, which is kind of what I want to take a bath in right now every time I hear Mel Tucker's name pop up on Twitter.
Oh, my God, I love that. I love that. I think you guys are in the clear, though. Like, he admits to everything that they could fire him for, so what's the issue here?
I think just because it is a gray area of everything that is happening, because you're talking about a consensual relationship over the phone with text messages deleted. And so in situations like this, there's always going to be a gray area. And Tucker's going to sue. I think he will win some money. He's going to go for $79 million. I think they might rule like, hey, you get a year of your contract. You get $10 million or somewhere along that line and just see you later.
Are you happy that this is finally coming to – I know we're not close to being done yet because there's going to be lawsuits, and those will be tiny segment days. Like, we're not going to spend, 15, 20 minutes on this or 3 hours on Mel Tucker suing. Like, are you to the point now where you just want to wipe your hands of this and get this year over with?
I will once the bye week's over, because that's when the hearing and all the investigation will fully come out. And so once the bye week is over, I think I'll be ready to just finally all right, I can focus on the team and the players. And because even last week after the game, talking to a few of the players, it seems like they are trying their hardest to be out of sight, out of mind on all of this. And, God bless those kids. And because it's like, again, it's one of these things where you want to make fun of the university and the team and stuff, but it was none of them. This was just this is a story of one. I mean, this is just it's all on Mel Tucker. So yeah, once we get through that hearing, because the lawsuit and everything, that'll happen, whether or not there's, money involved. I don't know if you'll ever find out a real figure, because since it'll be a civil case and everything, the numbers will be hidden. You'll have to FOIA request the crap out of it to try to find a settlement number.
Yeah, I hope somebody does, just so that we know. But I also hope that the courts rule that Michigan State doesn't have to settle with them. I really hope that they can clear cut, wipe their hands.
Right, and that's why I think then if there is a settlement number, it will be low, just because throughout this whole process, Tucker has changed his story. He lied about being in Florida, said he was in his home in East Lansing because he's trying to avoid saying he was on a work trip when it happened. He's changed his story up multiple times and has been combative even in the last 2 weeks when they're like, hey, here's the intent to fire. You have a week to try to present your case of why we shouldn't fire you for cause. Because it's really the only reason why we have to give you an intent, because it's written in your contract. If we're firing you for cause, we have to give you a week's notice and you get a chance to say, hey, no, you shouldn't fire me. And even, what his lawyer him said, it was a lot of deflecting in his statements instead of trying to speak the truth. And that's one thing I can't stand, when just people in general are trying to argue a point, and instead of arguing the point, they deflect just what someone else has done and why it should be okay that they've done this. It's like, well, no, you're not making a case for yourself. You're just trying to say, well, they did it. Why can't I?
Yeah, exactly. That's really well said and really well put right there, because that is what it comes down to. He said, she said. Now, I've said multiple times on this program that I still want to see what led to all this. Like, I want to see what those conversations looked like, a snippet of it at least, and to be able to kind of understand where this is coming from and how consensual this is. Because, still at the same time, like, okay, workplace, relationship within the workplace, if it's consensual, like, why did she go rogue? That's also what I want to know. Like, what was the intention here from Brenda Tracy? If by the way, and no, I'm not excusing his behavior. These are questions that I just think that somebody needs to ask. Everybody's so quick to hop on the bandwagon and hammer Mel Tucker, which is fine. I don't like the guy anyway, so go ahead and blast him all you want. But everybody's like, they all want to be these, these glorified like warriors for the good, or whatever the hell you want to call it. And it's like, well, you know what? Why don't we just ask some more questions and see if we can come out with a pretty well-rounded answer? Because my biggest question in regards to this is, what led Mel Tucker to believing that this was a consensual relationship? What was it that made it consensual? What was she saying to him that led him to believe that this was a welcomed conversation or conversations to have? And then why did she flip script if she did?
And I get all that, and really it comes down to me, it's just like, you're a 51-year-old married man doing that on the phone. Like, grow up.
I get that sentiment. I do get it. But I still,
like, just in that aspect of it, because it's, from reading all of it, it sounds like it was a flirtatious relationship. Like, whether or not it was romantic or a friendship, like, again, that's where the gray area comes in, where it's like, I don't even know if, the two of them really know the full truth of it. So I think it's just, it all becomes this whole gray. I mean, how many times have someone in your life, have you dealt with this, where you felt like, hey, this person kind of likes me, and then it's just like, oh, no, they didn't at all. I misread a lot of things. Like, that's just life in general. It's just, a lot of times we're not on the phone, playing with our little dinghy.
Wow, that was graphic. Yeah, look, that I understand. I still got to know. I still do. Because if there's nothing there and he completely misread the situation, then then you look terrible. But if there was some bait there that she casted out and drew him in, then I need to know, like, if it takes two to tango and she's playing ball, then I need to know why, what happened, and why did she flip. That's basically. And I'm not doing any victim blaming here, folks, so spare me on that. All I'm doing is trying to figure out exactly how things went from, oh, no, we were really close and this is a consensual relationship, to all of a sudden this lady's filing a complaint.
The story flipped, because even throughout this whole process of, the phone call and everything, it seemed like it still hit a point where the relationship ended. The romantic side of the relationship ended, and then it turned into, okay, well, you said you were going to bring me back on campus, and then Tucker tried to cut off that business aspect of it and tried to, flex his power as the head coach, saying, we no longer need your business because you won't have a relationship with me. And that's where it turns into, that's the harassment part of the case. So I think even whether or not the consensual or non-consensual part of it, it's to me, it's, out of sight, out of mind, because like it doesn't matter, because then you got your feelings hurt because you got rejected, and then you shut off a vendor to the university.
Now there is this thought, because look, I mean, Mel Tucker concludes his Michigan State career officially at 20-14, including that magical Kenneth Walker 2021 season where they were 11-2. So that'll paint the picture. Outside of that, they're what, 9-12?
And we can agree on a settlement that I think you will agree with, and the court should agree with. Just give the $79 million to Kenneth Walker.
I know he'd be a happy man, although the Lions held him to what, under 60 yards? Harlan Barnett, who's been the acting head coach, they're 0-2. They've lost by a combined score of 72-16. Now, the other thought that I've seen floated around out there is these coaching candidates that could potentially replace Mel Tucker. And a lot of people believe that because Michigan State hadn't done, Mel Tucker hadn't really done all that much to earn the $95 million, but he was 2-0 against Michigan, got the Spartans into the 2-1. But I'm talking like early on, right? But before he gets the contract, he goes 2-0, and we know that is like, that's the thing, right? If you can do that, Michigan State fans will love you forever. I think that's why there's a lot of folks out there who are very interested in Urban Meyer. But just because they went out and spent, and wrote down on a piece of paper 10 years and $95 million, I don't think that I think there's a weird sort of like belief out there that money's just readily available to go to the next person right off the rip. And I don't think that should be the case. I think that whoever they hire next needs to have a legitimate contract, and in the back of your mind, if you do well, they are willing to spend, but they can't. Everybody keeps pointing to 10 years, $95 million. I don't think they should sign another deal like that again until they absolutely know they have the right person for the program. I just don't think that money is available, and it shouldn't be available. It's not on the table.
No, but I think people say it's available if the right person is there. Like, you can't cry poor if all of a sudden the right, candidate pops up, someone gets fired, and it's like, well, we can't spend $10 million on a coach. It's like, you can if the right person's there. So I think it's just because I think the money is possibly available. But again, I don't know with these coaching candidates, I don't know if you just want to throw out 10 years, $95 million. Like, you're not going to give that to Mike Elko of Duke. Like, you can give him a very nice pay raise without having to pay him $10 million a year.
Yeah, it's the Elko thing is it's a hot name. We do have some coaching candidate names that we'll get into, but we'll step aside. Hour number 2.
I do have a surprise one that I've only told, I think, one person that hasn't been mentioned at all on Twitter.
Okay.
So I'll text you that one.
Stash that. We'll be back with more X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my good friend Matt Golden. Now, he's the CEO and GM at the Tullymore Golf Resort. They're in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids. And fall golf is here, and they have some huge deals you can take advantage of on stay-and-play packages, tee times, and more. Just go to tullymoregolf.com. That is tullymore.golf.com. Also, if you want to book a Christmas party for the holidays, you want to squeeze in a business meeting with some golf and great food and beverages, Matt Golden and his team can take care of you right now. Go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com. They're also booking big groups who want stay-and-play packages, or maybe you just want to look ahead to the perfect weekend in 2024. Remember, Tullymore is less than an hour north of GR in Canadian Lakes, Michigan. Book your stay-and-play package or get more info now at tullymoregolf.com.
Elevate your night out at the legendary Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, now open at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Start with the finest cuts of USDA prime beef. Pair that with handcrafted cocktails, signature sides, and Ruth's legendary hospitality, and you've got yourself one incredible night. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse has arrived. Make a reservation at ruthschris.com for your incredible night at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
Fuel up for less with M-Perks. Earn points on your purchases when you shop at Meijer in-store and online. Then use your points to claim a fuel reward and save at the pump. Your dollar goes further at the pump with M-Perks. Plus, earn points for all qualifying purchases in the Meijer Express station and keep a lookout for exclusive Meijer Express offers. Enter your M-Perks ID at checkout to earn. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Wisconsin. Max 30 gallons. Download the Meijer app to sign up or see Meijer.com to learn more.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTap at freddythepizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email freddythepizzaman@gmail.com.
Later today at 3, it's the Huge Show right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, Vietnam.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good thirsty Thursday morning to you. It is the 28th day of September 2023. So great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 sports radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843, 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros, and, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network .com to find our website. xbmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox, and you can find us all individually on Twitter. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. Ben Glaze is at the Ben Glaze, and I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Ryan's still on hold. He wants to hop in and give his coaching candidate list. All right, Ryan, what do you got on the table for us for Michigan State here?
All right, so there's the normal coaching list I think everyone's seen. It's Mike Elko from Duke. There's Chris Kleiman from Kansas State, who's already said, like, well, I'm not part of any coaching search, which, of course, you say that. It's week 5 of the season. Like, why would you be like, yes, I want this job in the middle of the season?
True.
And I think Lance Leopold from Kansas, even though he's a little older, he's 60 years old, but he's built a lot of good programs everywhere he's gone to, coming up from, I think, like the D2 level all the way to Kansas. And if you can do something like that at Kansas, it's kind of worth noticing. And then everyone has their Urban Meyer. But I feel like a coach's name that doesn't have a job right now that I haven't seen, put anywhere is Pat Fitzgerald, the former Northwestern coach.
Oh, boy.
And, I need someone to laugh at that name just so I can get it out of the system and off the list.
Yeah, I mean, Pat would still be at Northwestern if not for controversy. I just feel like you can't go you got to there's got to be somebody out there that isn't, in the words of the great Coach Prime, bringing his own baggage. And I don't mean by baggage players. I mean like his own off-the-field nonsense here. And I don't think – I don't know. I really – you had some players come right up and defend Pat Fitzgerald. Was that just a disgruntled player that cost him his job? Is he good enough to get the program to where you want it to be? Because, Northwestern's only good once every 4 years anyways. I thought.
But
I really
also, look at the school you're at, though. You're at Northwestern. It's like, what are your resources there? You probably have stricter academics, letting kids in than the University of Michigan, especially when it comes to athletics. Like, what would Pat Fitzgerald, what would he be as a coach if he had resources behind him and less limitations on the academics?
And more people than 12,000 that would show up to a football game. That much is for sure. We know that state fan base.
James Franklin, preparing to go to Northwestern, said he turned all music off at practice so players could get used to the atmosphere they're about to head into.
Wow. Bold statement there. That's, talk about bulletin board.
But he was like, I hate, he goes, I hate to be rude about it, but that's just the situation we're going into.
Yeah, games like that, docile crowds, when Mike Sanders still was talking about Nebraska, you'd much rather play with a crowd that is involved in the game. What about Mike Tressel, Wisconsin's defensive coordinator? No?
No.
You take him out all 100%.
Move on from him. We don't need former assistants. We don't need Pat Narduzzi. We don't need Tressel. Just keep moving along.
All right. What about Sean Lewis, Colorado's offensive coordinator?
That I wouldn't mind. I say that's a popular name. It's one of those things. It's like, yeah, he was at Kent State, and it's really the record. It's not great, but it's like you're at Kent State. It's like you're never going to get the attention or a good enough record, I think, to get that next step up. I mean, that's why he left there to be an OC. So, like, that, again, that's a name where it's like that comes across the wire, great. A nice, fun offense. It's like the Phoenix Suns with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire. 7 seconds or less on the.
Hey, let me throw another coordinator name at you, and you could kick this right back to me. You can punt it right back into my forehead. Brian Hartline from Ohio State.
I wouldn't mind it, but is it one of those things like if things go south with Ryan Day, are you going to lose Hartline right back to Ohio State?
That's legitimate. That's legitimate. Okay.
And so, but again, if that's what it is, like, you know what, let's have fun with it. And also, if Ohio State fans get their way and they let Ryan Day go, sign him up. I'll take 49-6 in 4 years.
Right? Everybody in the country would take 49-6 in his amount of time. But
there is a little brat down in Columbus.
Just unbelievable.
2 games in a row to Michigan, and the world is over because we had a glorious 20 years. It's like, welcome to the rest of the world, Ohio State. This is how life goes in football.
It is just preposterous, like how there are certain portions of fan bases, and maybe I've been a little bit guilty of this myself because I was looking for that big pop offensively from Michigan, a 50-plus point effort. We haven't seen it. They just beat everybody 31-6 because they don't play anybody. So that was a little frustrating for me. But there is a certain group of college football fans that are, the expectation is so ridiculous, and the pursuit of perfection, it's so unrealistic, right? You're not going 12-0 every season. It's not going to happen. Teams lose. It's like the Lions. The Lions were going to go 17-0 this season. That wasn't going to happen. They lost in week 2. Okay. And then after week 2, we had fire Aaron Glenn, fire Dan Campbell. Brad Holmes doesn't know how to scout. He doesn't have the right players on the team. Guess what? They win the following week, and now everybody's happy again. Like, football fans are delusional to begin with, but especially in Columbus. All right. Another oddball name for you I want to throw to you. Jonathan Smith from Oregon State, the Beavers. They're in the top 25. They're looking good.
No, he's a great name.
They're moving to the Mountain West.
But he's an Oregon State alum. And so I just think pulling him away from Oregon State would just be damn near impossible. So I think that's a name that I think all Michigan State fans would be like, yes, we love it. That's great. But I just think the reality is just set in for all Michigan State fans. And I think rightfully so. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, that's trying to pull Whittingham out of Utah. Like, it's just, you're not going to do it. Like, it'd be a great hire, but it's not feasible.
Last 2 for you. First one, Matt Campbell, Iowa State.
No.
Okay, I assume that. I assume that. Don't apologize to me. They haven't been very good, so don't apologize to me. I understand.
Right, and that's what it is. Like, if Matt Campbell was hired instead of Mel Tucker, I still think it's a different story. I just think Ames has gotten the best of Matt Campbell, and I think he needs a new spot just to kind of rejuvenate himself, because it's just like, you're at Iowa State, man. Like, I think you just need something new in your life.
Yeah, that's the children of the corn. That's tough, man.
Because he's a great coach, but it's just like, look where you're at.
Yeah, tough to recruit, tough, and God bless him. But all right, I just wanted to throw that one out to you. I'll sit on the other one as we are up against the break. We'll come back, more X's and Bros on the other side. This is the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my good friend Matt Golden. Now, he's the CEO and GM at the Tullymore Golf Resort. They're in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids. And fall golf is here, and they have some huge deals you can take advantage of on stay-and-play packages, tee times, and more. Just go to tullymoregolf.com. That is tullymoregolf.com. Also, if you want to book a Christmas party for the holidays, you want to squeeze in a business meeting with some golf and great food and beverages, Matt Golden and his team can take care of you right now. Go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com. They're also booking big groups who want stay-and-play packages, or maybe you just want to look ahead to the perfect weekend in 2024. Remember, Tullymore is less than an hour north of GR in Canadian Lakes, Michigan. Book your stay-and-play package or get more info now at tullymoregolf.com.
There are 13 folds that bring the American flag to the iconic shape of freedom. This summer, Folds of Honor and Budweiser celebrate 13 years of changing military and first responder lives together. Service never stops, and neither will we. So join me in raising a Budweiser to raise funds for Folds of Honor.
Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
If you wait long enough, the pendulum swings in the other direction. All across Michigan, police academies are filling up. In fact, new sections are being added to accommodate the brave men and women making the decision to protect and serve. The Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police commends and welcomes these selfless, community-minded officers joining our ranks. We know we have more work to do, and with your help, the pendulum will swing in favor for all of Michigan.
Later today at 3, it's the Huge Show right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
You're listening to Michigan's statewide morning show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Good Thursday morning to all of you. Some inclement weather across the state. Temperatures are still okay. Going to get a heat wave next week, so that'll be good. Get a little bit warmer out. Maybe a little false summer here. Indian summer, is that what they call it? Golf season coming to a close. Matt Golden and his great team over at Tullymore Golf Resort still ready to welcome you with open arms to Canadian Lakes, Michigan. It's an hour north of Grand Rapids. It's 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant, which means it's easy to get to no matter what direction you are coming from, folks. That's the place to be. Tullymore, they got two great courses, Tullymore and St. Ives. And a free shuttle bus take you from point A to point B. And a beautiful halfway house. And incredible golf carts. Luxurious. You know, I'm a big believer that you got to make your, when you get into the golf cart, it's not just throw your clubs on and go. That golf cart is now your home for the next, 2.5 to, hell, a couple Sundays ago, it took us like 6 hours to play. So that's going to be your home. So, get comfortable, get everything all set up and squared away. I definitely want to, I got to look on Amazon to see if I can find some sort of like cell phone holder thing that will attach to like the windshield bar. I think that might be interesting, whether it's magnetic or not, or if it clips on. Not really sure what direction I want to go with, but something so that like myself and whoever's riding with me can see the hole clearly on my phone. Maybe it's an iPad holder if it's going to be a Sunday round and we got to fire up the old red zone, connect the old hotspot, keep it going, because it's great that most carts have chargers in them now. Because that's the other big thing. Like when your cell phone is as old as mine is, the charge goes quickly. So if you have your music, if you connect on a hotspot, you got the Wingman app running or whatever golf app that you use. Like, yes, you're going to drain some battery out there, but why not? That's what it's there for. Just use it and plug your phone in. You'd be good to go. But hey, at Tullymore Golf Resort, you can do all of that right there. A top of the line accommodations. The perfect space for your wedding event, reception, or group outing. Visit TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4337. That's 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. I was definitely dressed appropriately yesterday. It was like, low to mid-60s. A little bit of precipitation. Nothing crazy like what Metro Detroit got. We're a little bit south of there, so it was fine. It was just gloomy, overcast, that kind of stuff. I have not heard anyone say Mike McDonald. Michigan ties, but who cares? Matt in Kalamazoo. Matt apparently does not care about who is going to be the next coach at Michigan State. I don't know. I think that, he came to Michigan, did his internship, and then went back to be a DC in the NFL. I just don't know if you leave that to coach. You got to really love the idea of coaching in college. You got to really love that idea. Because I don't see it. I don't know why in the world. The NFL brings its own, slate of pressures and everything else. But I have no idea why you would ever want to go coach college football versus coaching in the professional ranks. Just for the recruiting alone. Like, ugh. No, thank you. No, thank you. I would 100% pass. By the way, a couple things happened last night in Major League Baseball outside of the Tigers game being suspended. In the fifth inning, they'll pick things up there 1 o'clock today with the second portion of the now back-to-back doubleheader, kind of, sort of, will be at 3. But the Braves' Ronald Acuna Jr. became a founding member of his own club last night. How about this? The founding member is Ronald Acuna Jr. He stole second base in the 10th inning of their matchup between the Atlanta Braves, Chicago Cubs. Was Acuna's second straight night and 70th this season with a steal. And that made him the first player in MLB history to have at least 40 home runs and 70 steals in one season. 6-5 victory for Atlanta. Cubs melting down. Playoff race in the balance. And Acuna, who stole the base, grabbed it right out of the ground. What a scene. First ever to be able to do it. Most home runs in a 70 steal season, just for some perspective. Ronald Acuna Jr. hit 41 this year so far. Rickey Henderson had 28 in 1986. Eric Davis had 27 in 1986. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. What a moment that he had. And a heartbreaking loss for the Cubs. They're battling for their playoff lives right now in the pennant race. Chicago now drops into a tie with the Miami Marlins for the NL's third and final wild card slot at 82 and 76, but loses a tiebreaker if it comes down to that. So that's pretty interesting. The Tampa Bay Rays decided they were going to celebrate 10 days after clinching their postseason berth. That's kind of intriguing a little bit. Champagne, cigars, all that good stuff. They did it all. The Visitors Clubhouse at Fenway. It was time to celebrate. Just happened to be 10 days, afterwards. Ski goggles on. I remember when I was a kid, they didn't wear goggles. They just let that champagne burn their eyes out. So they did it. They got through it. And the Rays won their 97th game, tied for second most in franchise history. Still have a slim chance at the AL East title. Baltimore's 99 and 59 has a magic number of 1 to clinch. When we clinched in Baltimore, tough game to clinch on, but it doesn't make any less special right now, said the Rays general manager. Every time you make the playoffs, it's a really cool thing, and it might be the last time for anybody in this room. So when you make the playoffs, that's an accomplishment that you celebrate. It's a little weird that we're celebrating tonight, but in my opinion, it's the right thing to do, and I think the guys are having a great time. Getting to the playoffs is that's what this signifies, said Yandy Diaz. The most important part is getting to the World Series so that we can keep celebrating. And Rob Manfred hopes that owners are going to vote on the A's Las Vegas move in November. It doesn't really even feel like there's any legitimate pushback whatsoever at all. They want out of Oakland. They want to get to Vegas. They see the money that it's bringing in. I can't believe the NBA hasn't figured this out yet. And the simplest solution for the NBA was to move Memphis to the Eastern Conference, so that gives the East 16 teams, because right now there's 30 total teams, 15 in each conference. You move Memphis to the Eastern Conference, and then you add Seattle and Las Vegas. Like, that's it. And now you have 32 teams. And it's expansion, and it's revenue, and it's, all the sharing that has to go on, and salaries and everything else. The guys are all overpaid anyways, so what's the difference? I think the league is more talented than it's ever been. But if the cap numbers were a little bit adjusted, we might be able to prevent these teams loading up with guys like Harden, Kyrie, and KD. But also that's a philosophical question for guys in today's game too. Like, do you want to compete or do you not want to compete? Like, what is the deal? Like, why are you friends with everybody out there? It doesn't make for a great story. But I'm very surprised that the NBA has kind of drug its feet. Seattle wants their team back. They want the Supersonics back. It's an awesome reboot, so that's great. It fulfills the need, gives you team number 31. You already host a ton of stuff out in Las Vegas. The NBA loves Vegas. Vegas loves the NBA. There's your 32nd team. 1 and 2, same season. Memphis goes east. We balance the conference out at 16 aside, and let's go. Then you redo the all-star teams, and you figure this thing out. And you don't worry about your little in-season cup of stuff that doesn't matter. They play the 82-game season or shorten the season if you want to. I've long been opposed to that, but at this point, like, if guys want to sit out, if guys don't want to play, and I'm not saying this is true for everybody, but bring it to the table. Be like, yeah, if we're gonna knock this thing down to 70 games, you're gonna lose 12 paychecks. Are they willing to do that? Yes or no? And if they're not, tell them stop worrying about it, show up and play. So they're trying to put everything in place, but Manfred, I don't feel like there's been any resistance whatsoever. They knew they wanted out of Oakland. It's a shame because when Oakland's good, the fans will come support, but stadium's old, and here we go with knocking something down to build something else, and that's typical in the American sports landscape, unfortunately. All right, we're going to step aside. When we return, my good friend Logan Lamorandier will join us. We'll talk Lions football. Thursday night football tonight. It's going to be basically all football from here on out. Lee Sterling will join us as well, getting ready for Locktober with Lee Sterling. The record is sensational, so if you're getting in on any of the action, you're firing up the old DraftKings, you can literally call Lee, and he'll help you out making your picks. And by the way, nobody's picking 80, 90, 100%, right? So anything over 50%, you're doing pretty well. Lee joins us at 8 o'clock too. But first, let's get to Logan next here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. He is a managing partner at Bean Garter, soon to be Dorn Mayhew, and they'll be stronger together. And did you know Bean Garter can help your business with outsourcing your payroll and other business needs? that can help ease tax filing and year-end reporting, compliance reporting, human resources management, time and attendance tracking, and more. Just go to BeanGarter.com to find out more how they can help your payroll system and make your workplace that much smoother. Go to BeanGarter.com. That's BeanEnerGartr.com, and they can help you with all your payroll needs. Like I mentioned, tax filing and year-end reporting, compliance reporting, human resources management, time and attendance tracking, and more. All your payroll needs can be handled by the team at Bean Garter. Find out more at BeanGarter.com.
Tracy, over to you for weather.
Oh, the sun must be shining, Dave, because the 7 for 7 sale is back at Meijer. Mix or match hundreds of items like Meijer frozen vegetables, Campbell's condensed soup, and Body Armor sports drink. Pick any 7 for just $7. There's a strong chance of saving with the same quality Meijer deals in-store or online. Back to you, Dave.
Sounds great, Tracy.
Deals so good, you've just got to talk about them. Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTap at FreddyThePizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email FreddyThePizzaman@gmail.com.
Later today at 3, it's the Huge Show right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Join us now in week number 4. Folks, this is the longest the two of us have ever gone during a football season in like the last 7 years without talking to each other and on the radio, much less. My good friend Logan Lamorandier. You can find him on Twitter at @Lamorandier. Logan, my man, good morning to you. How are you? How's life? How are things, partner?
Everything is great. Awesome to be back. The Lions got a lot going on as well, so I'm definitely looking forward to this. Glad we could connect.
Yeah, no doubt about that, my man. And, you know, they start off with that week 1 win over Kansas City. And sure, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, yeah, whatever. Win is a win, 21-20. And then they go into that Seattle game, and I felt like they shot themselves in the foot in a myriad of different ways, whether it was some of the decisions to bypass on points and try to get a 4th down conversion, whether it was going for it on 4th down in your own territory. You know, the pick 6, the fumble by David Montgomery. It was like the sum of all fears, but I really felt like the Lions beat themselves. And then last week against Atlanta, when the offense sputtered there in the third quarter, it was the defense that held strong, a defense that had gotten, you know, they took their lashings there against Seattle. Do you think that, you know, week 3 against Atlanta was more indicative of who this Lions team will be moving forward, or was that just like, hey, it's the Falcons? We don't really know too much about Desmond Ridder. Sure, they did a great job on Bijan, but it's still the Falcons.
Yeah, I think the Falcons have a good offensive line. Bijan Robinson, great running back. And the Lions, even against Seattle, Lions have faced good running backs, and they've held everyone in check. So at the very least, I think the Lions' run defense, and I really think they emphasize stopping the run, and we saw that in week 2 against Seattle, where maybe they weren't rushing the passer as much, making sure that they contain the run and try to put more of the weight on the quarterback's shoulders to carry the team. But this run defense is, I think, legit, and we've seen that through 3 weeks, and I think that should continue. And there's still some areas of probably that are weaknesses on Detroit's defense, but that's really every team has some sort of flaws or weakness. It's really hard to have a perfect team. You know, no team wins every game. So I really liked what I saw in Atlanta defensive wise, and Ridder, I have never really thought he's a great quarterback. He's kind of always been one of those guys. If you have a run game, he can make some nice throws, but that's most NFL quarterbacks. So to me, I really liked what I saw, the run defense, and especially against Atlanta, where you saw the pass rush starting to come through, and it was from all different players, you know, even Barnes and Campbell playing off the edge, Hutchinson finally getting pressures that turn into sacks, some pressure up the middle. So I do believe the defense is a lot better than we saw in week 2, and it's probably somewhere in between what we saw between the Falcons and the Seahawks.
What do you think when we look at the Lions offense, maybe the biggest, and obviously with Jameson Williams, a guy who they were depending on, you know, being able to stretch the field, it's kind of taken that deep ball a little bit out of play. I know that Laporta and Goff connected on a big, 47-yard touchdown reception where he was just running wide open. I mean, hell, any of us could have caught that football. I mean, he was so open there, nobody even near him. It's like, wow, Atlanta, what are you doing out here? But what do you think maybe is the biggest issue facing this Lions offense?
I do think it's a field stretcher, because if you look at the receiving core, it's not necessarily fast. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown, he can run, but again, he's not a blazer. Josh Reynolds, not a blazer. Marvin Jones, obviously not a blazer anymore at this stage. And Khalif Raymond, yes, he has some wheels, but I don't necessarily think he's that true deep threat like Jameson Williams is, where defenses have to respect wherever he lines up on the field, and that safety is going to probably not cheat up in the box if he's on Williams' side. So I do feel like that's part of the missing piece. And even last year with DJ Shark, I feel like the offense was at its best when he was on the field kind of later in the season when he was healthy, and it just provided another element. So I really do think that will open up a lot once Jameson comes back. And at this point, it's a lot of intermediate, middle type throws, and it's working. It's just not the same offense that we became accustomed to later in the season last year. But at the same time, I don't really have a ton of concerns. I know they are dealing with injuries on the line, but I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. They just need someone who is a little bit more of a threat to stretch the field, I think, to keep the defense honest.
When you watched Jahmyr Gibbs carrying the football there against Atlanta and outgaining Bijan Robinson, and we've seen Bijan, I mean, that guy can be a human highlight reel. Defense did a great job. When you looked at Jahmyr Gibbs, how do you think we can get even? I mean, 17 carries, 80 yards at 4.7 yards per carry. Those are great numbers, right? But it felt to me like there were times where he was getting bottled up a little bit between the tackles, and I'm thinking to myself watching it there, and of course live is always different than when you can have an opportunity to kind of rewind and rewatch the film on it. And it's like, man, I something about me wants him to get, for him to be in a position to have a little bit more space to operate. I don't know if, he did a great job running between the tackles, and we assume that that's what David Montgomery, that's going to be his role, like maybe a little thunder and lightning, if you will, between the two of them. But with Montgomery out and Gibbs getting a majority of the work, it just kind of felt like running in between the tackles. Sure, there were some great gains where you get, 7, 9, 13 yards or whatever. But it's like, man, if you could just find a way to get him, away from all those big guys in the trenches, this kid could really do some damage.
100%. I believe I even tweeted that out during the game. He needs to get into space. I mean, that's where he does his best work, and he's a home run threat anytime he touches the ball. But you have to have space to do that, and he's not the biggest guy, and that's why the Lions brought in Montgomery in the first week. That's why Montgomery was being fed those off the gut type of plays where you have to be a little bit more physical. And I'm not concerned about Gibbs at all. I think we know what he is as a player. He was at 199 pounds. He was never going to be a guy who's going to necessarily move the pile. He can make people miss in the open field, but he has to get to the open field and in space first to do that. And then if he gets a little crease, he will outrun cornerbacks and safeties. He's that fast. We just haven't seen that yet. But I think it's only a matter of time. And once this offensive line gets healthy, I think that will also help. But it's interesting because the vision that I had for Gibbs, with everything that was being said from the coaching staff after they drafted him, was that he was going to be such a unique player and is basically positionless. And you haven't seen that all that much yet. He is lining up a little bit wide, but last week he was more of a true running back, and that's not necessarily his forte. And I don't think that's why they drafted him to do that, but he was doing honestly better than the bigger backs and Craig Reynolds that they had on the roster. So, and Donovan Knight, both those guys did all right, but it was still Gibbs who was being the most productive, I feel like, so that they just rode the hot hand and used him in maybe ways it's not to his strength, but he was still, obviously you saw 80 yards towards the fourth quarter, started to build that momentum up, and maybe the defense was getting grinded down a little bit, and he started breaking some runs, and when you needed it, kind of in that 4 minute, it probably wasn't in the 4 minute range, but that 4 minute offense where you have to start running off the clock and you need yards on the ground, he was able to do that. So I'm still very encouraged by what he's doing, and I'm looking forward, hopefully, that Montgomery can play as well.
It really feels like Brad Holmes. I know that, he was under the gun a little bit because, Levi Onwuzurike wasn't, it hasn't really sort of panned out, just, injuries and everything else. That one didn't really work there. And a lot of people questioned the pick there of Gibbs instead of going with Jalen Carter. But folks got to remember that trade with Arizona netted them not only Jahmyr Gibbs, but also Sam Laporta. When you look at the all the picks there in the first two rounds, all four of them, all four seeing significant time right away. And Brian Branch there, the second pick of the second round for the Detroit Lions, the 14th pick in that round. I mean, he looks like the steal of the draft right now.
Oh, 100%. And of the four first and second round draft picks that the Lions had, Brian Branch, he was my favorite player out of all of them. He was ranked on my big board. He was ranked higher than all the rest of the guys. And I truly think he only dropped down into the second round that 40 time and, not elite size or anything like that, but he was just a good football player and instinctive. And I think that's what you need at the position he plays. Instincts are paramount, and he has that in spades, and you've already seen it show up. And just where he is right now, 3 games into his career, it's just super exciting if he gets any better. Like he might be the best player on the Lions defense, which is crazy to say after 3 games. But and then going back to the whole Jalen Carter thing, I don't think talent was ever a question with him, and he's showing up early as well. But if there was the character concerns and how he's going to fit on the team, that might not show up right away. So that, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Laporta is another guy. tight ends. We've drafted tight ends high before, and they always start off slow, and that's how it's always been for NFL tight ends. It takes a while to learn the position, and Laporta is so far ahead of the curve already, and it's awesome to see. It's why he's breaking rookie records, in the first 3 games. Jared Goff has a lot of trust on him. He's been reliable. The run after the catch has been a huge breath of fresh air. So nice to have. But yeah, the draft class is looking great, and Brad Holmes just continues to stack super solid draft after super solid draft on top of each other, and that's why they're in the position they're in right now. It's a lot to do because he took down a roster, and he's building the right way through the draft, and he's hitting on his players.
Logan, how concerned are you about the offensive line going into tonight's game on the road in Lambeau under the lights? The good news is we get them in September at Lambeau, which is always a huge benefit. You don't have to worry about any sort of frozen tundra out there. But with the injuries kind of stacking up the way that they have, we got a lot of guys listed as questionable. Frank Ragnow's toe is never going to be the same. Penei Sewell playing on the left side in place of Taylor Decker, obviously a natural left tackle. There was no problem there. But you bring in Matt Nelson, he gets nicked up. You bring in Dan Skipper, he gets dinged up. And it's like, oh, my goodness, now Jonah Jackson appears on the injury report. Like, how concerned are you about that front 5?
Not overly concerned. We'll see what happens and who's able to suit up. It sounds like Decker should be back, and maybe he's not 100%, but he's still going to be better than whatever reserve tackle the Lions want to try it out there at this point. So I'm not overly concerned. I know Green Bay is dealing with their own injuries as well, so we'll see how that plays out. But the offensive line, Graham Glasgow, he's still a solid player. So however they want to work it, I think they'll make it work. And if they have to protect, a certain player on that line, or use different formations or call different plays, change the strategy a little bit, I think they can do that. I have faith in Ben Johnson that he'll be able to handle that. So I'm not overly concerned about it.
The Green Bay Packers are kind of an interesting team right now. It looks like they might have a little bit of deja vu. Both of these teams are 2-1. The game is on Prime Video, but will be showed locally on Fox 2 in Detroit if you're in the southeastern Michigan portion listening to us right now. So you can always catch it on Fox 2. If not, we all got to go to the stream. All the cord cutters, all these kids got us away from these cable boxes, meddling kids. Anyways, but it looks like Green Bay might be having a little bit of deja vu in their quarterback. Like, they got a guy in Jordan Love who has, he's been relatively impressive, I say, so far.
Yeah, it's, in a limited sample size, I think there's still some accuracy issues there. He's not Aaron Rodgers in terms of accuracy, which is great. But yeah,
it's just great. Thank you. Oh man, it's awesome.
Yeah, Green Bay without a quarterback, I've never seen that before. When I started watching football with Brett Favre right there, so I don't know what I don't ever remember outside of the times that Rodgers got hurt that the Packers have never not had some elite quarterback. And Jordan Love, I think, is, he's shown that he can play, but I think he's still got a lot of improvement to go. And he's in his 4th year now. I mean, so I don't know if he's going to be that guy or not. But yeah, I think at this point, with this small of a sample size, we'll kind of see where it goes. But I don't think he's the next Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre, fortunately.
Yeah, I do like his ability to extend plays with his legs and scramble around a little bit. Throw for some different angles. There's been some moments there where he has. It's been very reminiscent of old number 12. But thank God that guy's not in the division anymore, and we don't have to worry about that mess. And it's a long grind of a season for Jordan Love. What's your gut feeling, your gut instinct on this football game tonight?
There's still some history at Lambeau, and recently it seemed to kind of faded. So I'm starting to lose the fear of Lambeau that I once have. But in saying that, it's still Lambeau Field. There's still refs involved. I do think that the Lions should be able to move the ball on offense. It sounds like, Christian Watson will be back for the Packers on offense. He hasn't played yet this year. And, looking at the offensive side of the ball for the Packers, if Aaron Jones is back, the Lions have done a good job stopping the run. A lot's going to fall on Jordan Love and his young receiving corps. So, my gut telling me is the Lions should win this game. I think it'll be a good game. It could go either way, but I feel like the Lions are the better team when you look at their roster and what they're doing. The Packers, had to come back from 17 points down last week against the Saints with Jameis Winston as the quarterback of the Saints. In order for that to happen, they lost to Atlanta already. So I know it's week to week can greatly change in the NFL, but looking at the matchup, I do like where the Lions are at, and I feel like they should win, and I would be very disappointed if they don't.
Be really interesting to look at this matchup, and I know they don't play head-to-head, but, the Michigan men, Aiden Hutchinson and Rashawn Gary, emerging as, some of the better defensive playmakers, not only for their teams, but in this division. I think that's kind of a unique storyline that people might want to, kind of track a little bit out there as we see who can get the pressure and who can get to the quarterback. But defensively for Green Bay, I mean, this is a team that, look, I mean, they're giving up a lot of yards, and it feels like, especially giving up yards to the running back. I think they're surrendering something like it's 136.7 yards per game right now allowed against, rushing the football. Like, they just haven't been able to do anything there. I feel like I'm overconfident. And if the Lions win, it's their fourth consecutive victory against the Green Bay Packers. I don't know why, but I feel like, tomorrow morning we're going to be talking about the Lions at 3-1.
Yeah, no, I firmly believe that too. And that's not always the case in the NFL, but I do feel like the Lions are the better team. And you look at the Packers defense, and I think the Lions offense can have a really good game. And that passing attack, the secondary of Green Bay, they're struggling right now. And their run defense isn't all that great either. So I do feel like the Lions should be able to move the ball, and the Lions defense should be able to stop the Packers run, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on Jordan Love and those young receivers. So I'm having a hard time seeing how the Lions lose this game unless they, shoot themselves in the foot or some crazy things happen that are very uncharacteristic for what we've seen and become accustomed to with this Lions team lately.
I'm feeling good. Vegas says the Lions a 1.5-point favorite on the road. Total points set at 46. And if you're into the individual prop bets, I would say Laporta over, Gibbs over, Sun God over, Lions and the over, money line spread, all that Honolulu blue and silver. It's going to be, we had a victory Monday. We're going to have a victory Friday, and it's all good things. All good things from our good friend here, Logan Lamorandier. Find him on the Twitterverse at L Lamorandier. You can find his work online. Sports Illustrated's all Lions coverage. Logan, my friend, is always partner. We appreciate the time. So great to hear your voice, and enjoy the game later on this evening.
I appreciate it. It was great talking to you. I look forward to next time.
Always great catching up with Logan Lamorandier. Football is back tonight, folks. Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. The Lions and the Packers. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, has you covered. New customers bet $5 on football. Get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Nobody's missing out on the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of not one but two new offers every game day this September. Get in on the NFL Week 4 action beginning tonight with DraftKings Sportsbook. Only using the promo code HUGE, promo code HUGE at DraftKings. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions do apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Talking Lions all next hour here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Hey, sports fans, here's a hanging curveball that you can knock out of the ballpark. This is Matt Shepard, the voice of Detroit baseball, inviting you to step up to the plate at Eagle Casino and Sports, the mobile sports book where you can bet on all your favorites all year round, including, of course, our national pastime. So download the app and start winning today. Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan. Must be 21 years or older and in Michigan to play.
He hasn't made a putt all day, but if he makes this one, we're all cracking a Labatt.
Hold it. Did you say if your buddy makes this putt, we're all cracking a Labatt? How about a Labatt Blue Light?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, you can do it!
It's a left-to-right break, just outside the cup. A touchdown hill.
Appreciate the support. You guys mind if I putt now?
Oh, yeah, sure. Best putt ever.
Because making the big shot is better with a big crowd. Labatt takes everything to the power of we. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer 2023, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt Regulations, U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company, Limited. Hey, buddy, where's my Labatt Blue Light? He made the putt, for crying out loud. I want my Labatt Blue Light.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTap at FreddyThePizzaMan.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email FreddyThePizzaman@gmail.com.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defended in the corner.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenneth Walker. Touchdown. Smarty.
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes. Caught. Touchdown to Detroit Lions. They did it. Br0's St. Brown in the receiving end.
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here, X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network on this Thursday, the 28th day of September 2023. That's Ben and Ryan. I'm Anthony. Join us right now on the Meijer Supercenter guest line from ParamountSports.com. Our good buddy, Lee Sterling. Find him on Twitter at Paramount Sports. Lee, my man, it's almost Locktober, partner. How are you?
I'm great. I mean, if we get another set of games like last week, I mean, that Notre Dame, Ohio State game and Florida State Clemson, we are in for another incredible weekend. Something that was lost, that, of course, none of the broadcasters brought up. Ryan Day should have not attempted the extra point. He should have just taken a knee. Did you realize that?
Extra point after the touchdown, take the knee.
Yeah, if it's blocked and returned for 2 points, they're going to overtime.
You do raise a good point there. That's very interesting. I didn't even think about it. I just kind of thought, well, okay, guaranteed. I mean, Ryan Day shouldn't be running some sort of sweep action inside the 5. Run it up the middle if you're so tough when Notre Dame only trots out 3 guys on defense, Ryan Day, if you're so tough. I thought Lou Holtz was going to fight him.
We gave him a gift. We gave him Al Golden.
I love it. We got another great slate of games, and let's start off with those Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They're back on the docket this week. They got another matchup inside the top 25. Who would have thought that Duke Blue Devils, without Mike Krzyzewski, would be ranked in the top 25 of anything? But here they are in football, top 25, Notre Dame, a 5-point favorite.
Yeah, let down or bounce back here for the Irish. As good as Sam Hartman is, I think Duke quarterback Riley Leonard is actually a better college football quarterback and player. This guy does it with his arms, does it with his legs. He's an incredible leader here. I think Duke defense is here for real. Watch the tape of what they did versus Clemson. Remember their head coach Mike Elko was with Notre Dame, then Texas A&M. He can teach and coach defense, and Duke +6 in turnover ratio. Sam Hartman played against Duke defense last year, lost and got sacked 3 times here, and Duke 12-4 against the spread. The last 16 home games, wrong team favored. Duke outright 23-20.
Oh, I love it. Go for the Dukies. Iowa and 12-point favorites against Michigan State. Lee, can Iowa score 12 points?
Maybe if they get a blocked punt or return on special teams. I mean, it is bad, that offense. I mean, they're going to have to just go. I mean, against bad teams, they're going to have to pour it on if they want any chance of Brian Ferentz if he wants to stay and move on for another year. So Michigan State has scored all of 7 and 9 points versus the 2 power conference teams, Washington and Maryland, which are average at best defenses here. Washington's known for their offense. Iowa clearly has the better defense of the 2 teams. The question is, will Iowa score, enough here? And can Michigan get above 10? I don't think that they can here. Iowa, 23-7.
Michigan's a 17-point favorite against Nebraska. I don't feel comfortable taking the maize and blue. I don't care how bad Nebraska is. Michigan against the spread, woof.
Yeah, running teams, both of them. Michigan is going to try to slow down the game. They don't want, 12, 14 possessions. They want like 8 at most. And Michigan's defense really good, top 12 in all major categories. But they haven't faced a running quarterback yet here. And Nebraska's also their run defense allowing 58 rushing yards or less all 4 games. Colorado burned them through the air, but Michigan doesn't have that type of passing attack here. Michigan is ranked number 2, but really, I don't think they're the second-best team in the country. I think this is a down year for top teams in college football. Any one of the top 12, 15 teams can beat anyone any given day. Michigan wins 31-21, but Nebraska covers.
Let's go to the pro game. Your Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa throwing no-look shovel passes. Are you kidding me? They put up 70 last week. They're taking on the Buffalo Bills. And you know, Lee, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are 3-point favorites. That seems kind of suspicious.
Well, Buffalo, what they're saying here is on a neutral field with 3-point home field advantage. This would be a pick'em game. Bills have been really good the last 2 games. They beat the Raiders and the Commanders by a combined 75-13. They could use some bad weather here, but the weather forecast right now, mid-70s and sunny, 0% chance of rain. So I think the Buffalo defense is down a few notches from the last couple of years. No Von Miller. I think their safeties have slowed down a little bit here, a step or two. All 3 games last year were close. Miami won the first one. They were outstatted 2-1, but won 21-19. The last 2, Miami lost by a field goal. I think it's last team with the ball here, and it's going to be the Miami Dolphins here. 38-35 in another great game. Take the 3 points in the Dolphins.
I can't believe that this isn't the Monday night game this week. That to me is just that should be. It's like the best game on the slate outside of tonight's game.
Coming up down the road, Anthony, they got Miami and Kansas City in Germany.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch. What a problem that is. I mean, what are we doing to the fans? What about us? We're the ones paying the bills over here. My goodness. Now, the biggest game of the week, the Detroit Lions tonight, Thursday Night Football, short week. Injury reports are coming out. We're going to get to it later on in the show. Everybody's hurt, but they're taking on the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field. No frozen tundra in September. I like the early September game on the road there. Can the Lions get it done against Jordan Love and the Packers?
It's crazy. I mean, the injury reports, everyone's listed as questionable, half the team. I mean, they gotta do something about that. Not just 2 hours before the game here, but I think the Packers, who have played the Falcons and Saints to a total score of 42-42 the last 2 Sundays, I don't know if they're ready yet here. They faced Atlanta's young quarterback last week who never threw the ball downfield, and the Saints, Derek Carr got hurt when his team led 17-0 here. So the public is going to be all over Green Bay. They're going to think, with their top running back, Jones, their best lineman, their best receiver coming back, they're going to win it. But Love's completion percentage, 53.1%. Jared Goff, 69.9%. I'm going with the veteran here. Detroit gets the job done tonight, 27-21.
Oh, that's what I like to hear. I like to hear that, Lee. That's a good start to my day. Your free play this week, Penn State, 27-point favorites over Northwestern. I mean, they held Iowa to 4 first downs in a football game, which is just preposterous. But that's a pretty big number. Northwestern, not very good at football. You should be leaning Penn State.
Nope, offense for Northwestern, though. Check out the stats. Watch the game last week. Might be coming around. Do I go with the dog here to keep it close, or can Penn State keep routing teams? You want to get it for free. Be one of the first 10 callers. Call 800-400-9741. First 10 callers, I'm going to give them Penn State and Northwestern on me. 800-400-9741. And what a run it's been here. 26-10 the last 3 weeks for the season. 32-15. No one, and I mean no handicapper in the country can top that documented record. You want to hop on. It's not October coming up. We call it Locktober. 5 weeks of games, just $347. Use coupon code SAVE100, just $347 at ParamountSports.com. We have our blowout special going on Saturday. Last week we had our underdog play of the month. We had Arkansas plus 18. Are you kidding me? They almost won the game outright. We have a game where the line's under a touchdown. They're going to win by 3 touchdowns. Do you want to hop on, start winning, tired of trying it on your own or using another service that's not doing the job, using maybe an underwear capper? Just go to ParamountSports.com.
Oh, get ready for the spooky spreads of Halloween in October. Visit ParamountSports.com. Call Lee, 1-800-400-9741, and find him on Twitter at Paramount Sports. Lee, my friend, as always, partner, it is a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Anthony. You have a great weekend, buddy.
You as well. I like that. Spooky spreads. I might be onto something there. Spooky spreads for Halloween. And not like, spreads on, bread or anything like that. We'll step aside. More X's and Bros after this.
in the Den. Hey, sports fans, here's a hanging curveball that you can knock out of the ballpark. This is Matt Shepard, the voice of Detroit baseball, inviting you to step up to the plate at Eagle Casino and Sports, the mobile sports book where you can bet on all your favorites all year round, including, of course, our national pastime. So download the app and start winning today. Eagle Casino and Sports, made in Michigan, made for Michigan. Must be 21 years or older and in Michigan to play.
I've said this for a while. The Tigers have some of the most talented all-time players in the history of the sport. Ty Cobb, of course, the all-time leader in career batting average, number 2 all-time in hits, and 4th all-time in wins above replacement. Al Kaline, one of the greatest right fielders ever with 10 gold gloves. Hank Greenberg, Charlie Gehringer, Alan Trammell, Justin Verlander, and of course, Miguel Cabrera, who many consider as one of the greatest right-handed hitters of all time, along with Hank Aaron, Albert Pujols, and Willie Mays. Think of those names and try to grasp those accomplishments and rankings, and you'll truly appreciate what we've had here in Detroit and the state of Michigan, and what we have left for just one more weekend.
I'm Matt Shepard, the voice of Detroit baseball.
I'm Herman Moore, and football is my game.
So we know a few things about sports.
And the passion of Detroit fans.
That's why we're big fans of Eagle Casino and Sports.
It's the mobile sports book that lets you bet on action all year long.
Right from your mobile device. Eagle Casino and Sports.
Made in Michigan. Made for Michigan.
Download the app and start winning today. Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
There are 13 folds that bring the American flag to the iconic shape of freedom. This summer, Folds of Honor and Budweiser celebrate 13 years of changing military and first responder lives together. Service never stops, and neither will we. So join me in raising a Budweiser to raise funds for Folds of Honor.
Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You're listening to Michigan Statewide Morning Show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. A reminder, golf season's coming to a close, but there's still great opportunities to book a stay and play at the beautiful Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes, Michigan. Smack dab in the middle of the state. If you pull out your handy-dandy map, it's right about at the bottom of your middle finger there on your palm. Tullymore and St. Ives, located about 7 minutes from each other. They got a free shuttle, take you back and forth between the courses and the grounds. Absolutely beautiful. The fall colors are going to be outstanding there. Book your stay and play. It's beautiful. Wedding, event, reception, group outing. If you don't play golf, it's all right there at Tullymore. Visit TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. TullymoreGolf.com. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. Welcome back here to X's and Bros. That's Ben Glaze and Ryan Elke. I'm Anthony Bellino. We've got some text coming in. Good morning, AB. Happy game day. Let's make it 4 straight against the Pack tonight. But the real question for you, my man, is whatever will you do with yourself this weekend? Got Michigan on the road, and the Lions play tonight. Is this an AB weekend to himself? How does that work when neither is playing in state? You've been busting your behind lately, so it's a weekend to yourself. You deserve and earned it, man. Andrew and GR. I like you, Andrew and GR. That's my kind of guy. Actually, my dad is currently in surgery for his hip replacement right now. So after the show today, I will hustle up and head north and get to the grocery store and hold things down at the fort, and then do the same thing on Friday and then Saturday night. Although Michigan is on the road and the Lions play tonight, Saturday night I will be working for the Detroit Red Wings Saturday night. So we're not all the way free and clear this time of year. It's tough to. But Sunday, I might be able to get out of work by like 2:15, so I'll have a little bit of time, and throw on a little red zone and maybe hook it to the golf cart and get to going. That might be the plan for this weekend. We'll wait and see. Got some things to take care of tomorrow after work, and so we got a list of things to do, but never a dull moment. I know. I thought too when they were both on the road. I said, "Oh my goodness, the endless possibilities." What will I do with myself? Find somewhere to work. That's what I'll do with myself. There is a report out right now. Tom Pelissero reporting this, NFL Network. What are the deets that he is finding out about this Lions-Packers game?
Well, Jamie, let's start with the Lions. Running back David Montgomery listed as questionable with a thigh bruise. There was some optimism early in the week, but I am told Montgomery not expected to play tonight. That means, of course, you can expect another heavy dose of Jahmyr Gibbs. Yes, it's safe to put the rookie into your fantasy lineup. Lions left tackle Taylor Decker also not expected to play, I'm told. But a bit of good news for Detroit. Cornerback Emmanuel Mosley, one of their high-priced free agency additions, I'm told he is expected to make his Lions debut. For the Packers, wide receiver Chris.
All right, let's talk about the Lions real quick. David Montgomery, the running back, left tackle Taylor Decker, according to Tom Pelissero, are not expected to play in tonight's game. Which is interesting. It's interesting because, Dan Campbell had maybe, said earlier in the week, Decker had said it, Montgomery had said it. Everybody's feeling better, and would take them a lot to not get out there. Short week this week, coming off a Sunday, but neither played on Sunday. So they've had some time. And if you play tonight, you have, 11 days before the next game? Until the actual injury report comes out, I'm going to be real suspicious about this. Because what we've sort of kind of maybe been led to believe by Dan Campbell, and either that it's an incredible smokescreen and he's just up there, I don't want to say lying, but he knows that when he speaks, everybody's listening. It's what's reported. Everybody's questionable on the report. You don't want to show your hand too early until you absolutely have to. Very suspicious here, Motor City Dan Campbell. Very suspicious. Because it's not necessarily lying. You're just kind of misleading if you're talking about how both guys, should be ready to go. Maybe you know that neither of them are. If you're being 100% truthful, Dan Campbell, and you say that, hey, Taylor Decker's feeling better, Decker comes out and says that, oh, yeah, I'm feeling good. The ankle pain I can play through, yada, yada, yada. Okay, Dave Montgomery, he's feeling good. He's ready to get back out there. I want to play. Okay, great. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Dan Campbell can report that. Hey, both guys are getting better, progressing day by day, and just leave it at that. It makes you believe that, hey, both these guys might be available. Maybe kind of, sort of. But then it gets reported the morning of the game. The morning of the game? I mean, this report came out at 7:24 in the morning. Pelissero looks like he's been awake for 12 hours. And now he's reporting that they're not expected to play. Is this a curveball to Green Bay? Could it be? I don't know. Am I mad if it is? No. And any fan's reaction, like, oh, I can't believe he told us this week they're playing. It doesn't matter what he tells you. You don't have any impact on the game. Sit down, relax. Grab some snacks. Order a pizza tonight. Go do something fun. Maybe go to a sports bar. Sports bar scene kind of got phased out a little bit. And I don't know how many sports bars are able to show Amazon Prime if they have smart TVs. And if you're in Southeast Detroit, or Southeast Michigan, I should say, in Metro Detroit, and you have Fox 2, that works out well because then you're able to, watch it on regular TV, which is great. But yeah, it doesn't matter. You don't need to feel misled or lied to. It's about the Packers. He's playing poker with the Packers, not with you, the fan. We're going to be there regardless. We're showing up regardless. It doesn't matter. It's called strategy, right? You wouldn't march to the enemy's gates and tell them, hey, we're going left, and then actually go left, would you? No. Sometimes you'd create a diversion, right? Think Gladiator opening scene. Russell Crowe, on my mark, unleash hell. The barbarian's out there. He's got the head of the Roman soldier. They're chanting, cheering, doing all this stuff. The Romans are going to meet him in the open field, right? And there they go. They're marching. Catapults are slinging that fiery rock that's full of whatever, some sort of burning oil or something. They don't want to get hit with that thing. And then what's Russell Crowe, a.k.a. Maximus, do? They flank him on horseback. The cavalry comes in for the flank. They wipe the field with the barbarians. No big deal. They didn't run out there and say, hey, barbarians, we're going to be over here in the woods waiting for you. So when you guys come up, we're going to come in from the flank, and that's going to be all for you. They wouldn't show your hand. Don't take it personally, Lions fans. It's totally fine. Let them mislead the Packers and send smoke all throughout the week. The injury report is the injury report. Unless a guy is elevated from the practice squad to the active roster, or a guy is sent to the injured list, like injured reserve, I don't really think that there's a whole lot you could really look at as like questionable or day-to-day or practice reports. We go through them a little bit here on the show, but I don't take them as a spoken word just because somebody's, got limited practice. Well, what's that going to do? Like, yeah, was he out there? No. I mean, Frank Ragnow gets a veteran day off every Monday because he doesn't have a toe that works. You take for granted your toes until you got a little gout in there. Then all of a sudden, oh my goodness. So, look, this isn't about us. It's not about us, the media. Well, it is about us, the media, because we're the ones that convey these messages. If Decker is out there or if he's not out there, like Jonah Jackson being on the injury report, that's something that should raise your eyebrows. It should. Because my biggest question going into this season, when Big V was back, was how many games can this offensive line play together? How many? What'd they do? Make it a game and a quarter? Game and a half? That was it? The starting five. More on the Lions and Packers next here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. He is a managing partner at Bean Garter, soon to be Dorn Mayhew, and they'll be stronger together. And did you know Bean Garter can help your business with outsourcing your payroll and other business needs? that can help ease tax filing and year-end reporting, compliance reporting, human resources management, time and attendance tracking, and more. Just go to BeanGarter.com to find out more how they can help your payroll system and make your workplace that much smoother. Go to BeanGarter.com. That's BeanGarter.com, and they can help you with all your payroll needs. Like I mentioned, tax filing and year-end reporting, compliance reporting, human resources management, time and attendance tracking, and more. All your payroll needs can be handled by the team at Bean Garter. Find out more at BeanGarter.com.
I'm Matt Shepard, the voice of Detroit baseball.
I'm Herman Moore, and football is my game.
So we know a few things about sports.
And the passion of Detroit fans.
That's why we're big fans of Eagle Casino and Sports.
It's the mobile sports book that lets you bet on action all year long.
Right from your mobile device. Eagle Casino and Sports.
Made in Michigan. Made for Michigan.
Download the app and start winning today. Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTap at FreddyThePizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email FreddyThePizzaman@gmail.com.
Later today at 3, it's the Huge Show right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
miss any of today's show? Find our podcast and listen on demand on Google, Apple, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Get in on all the action. Thursday Night Football begins tonight. Lions, Packers in Lambeau. Who's got you covered for all the action for every single game day, including tonight? Well, DraftKings Sportsbook does, of course. An official sports betting partner of the National Football League. New customers can bet $5 on football. Get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Nobody is missing out on the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day in the month of September. You better hurry up because September's almost over, folks. Get in on the NFL Week 4 action with DraftKings Sportsbook starting tonight. Download the app. Use the promo code HUGE to sign up. New customers can bet $5 and take home $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook, only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody who knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117, 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions to apply. That's what I get for trying to read Officer Scott's text while I'm trying to read this. Terms at sportsbook.com. Sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. I'd give myself an F. Just give me an F. I look like the Bears out here right now. Just terrible. All right, join us on the horn right now. The Meyer Supercenter guest line, you could join us too, 866-838-4843, 866-838-4843. Text the keyword sports radio to 21,000. He wants to talk football, and I want to take a moment to talk about him, so don't put him up there yet so you can't interrupt me and start talking about the Packers or something like that, Ben. But our friend and Grandmaster of Pizza, Freddie Bello, finally, after years of work, was able to institute and fund and build a sensory room at Michigan State University inside the Breslin Center. And also, on top, if that wasn't enough, folks, first in the Big Ten, if that wasn't enough, also made a donation for, I believe it's kids going to school and wanting to get into that field of education, made a significant contribution, 5 figures, if I'm not mistaken, $10,000 from the Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation. And I want to make sure that yes, we have our fun on the radio, and I enjoy going to Freddie the Pizza Man's in Melvindale and walking out of there like Tony Montana in the last scene of Scarface with flour all over me. It's sitting in the back, and while he tries to force beverages at me, but his life's work so much greater than just being the best pizza in the state of Michigan, best pizza in Detroit. Making a difference in communities all across the state. The number of sensory rooms that have been put into schools because of the foundation, it's special. And now to be able to take it not only to the Detroit Lions at Ford Field, but also to Michigan State for the first one in the Big Ten. Freddie deserves his flowers, his basil, if you will. So now, Ben, you can bring him in now, and now we can talk about football.
I was talking the whole time, telling you to shut up.
No, I knew you were going to do that. So I said, Ben, don't bring him up because he's going to try to interrupt me while I'm trying to have a moment.
Thank you, Anthony. That was very nice of you. But that was very nice of you. I will correct you, though. It took them years. It only took me one day to get things done. I will say that. But
that's my guy, Freddie, right there.
Yeah, but thank you for that. That's very kind of you. And half your listeners that hate me, maybe they like me for a few minutes today. I still love you, even though your sports takes are terrible. So, Anthony, you made me your read, the read you had before you came on air.
Let's not talk about
it. That was as bad as Matt Campbell's coaching career at Iowa State. I got to tell you that.
All right. Take it easy, Chief. Listen here, sport. You want to take it out back, pal? Huh? Are you serving pizza today? Because I'm serving knuckle sandwiches, Freddie. You want some of this? A little 2-piece extra crispy?
So I call Talk Detroit Lions. Obviously, they're playing today. And, I got to tell you this real quick story. This is Detroit Lions related. The other day, I talked to Uncle Lo. And he was on he was on hosting with Sean the guy that hosted before you. So they were talking about Billy Sims. Okay, I want you to think about this. Billy Sims, 1984. I watched the game, and he hurt his knee. And if you think about that, Lomas Brown was drafted the next year. And we were sitting there talking, and I said to Lomas, do you realize if Billy Sims never got hurt, you wouldn't be sitting here today? You wouldn't have this legacy in Detroit. You wouldn't be on the radio. You wouldn't be the Lions color analyst, because they went 1-6-1 after Billy Sims got hurt. Lomas Brown wouldn't have been the sixth pick by the Detroit Lions in 1985 if Billy Sims didn't get hurt. Kind of ironic. So, and I don't think he realized that when we were talking about it. And I just thought it was kind of wild. Could you imagine Lomas Brown not being a Detroit Lion? There's no way.
No, I mean that's kind of a fate thing, right? I mean that's what
yeah.
That's kind of just how everything kind of aligns. By the way, that 1984 year, that was NFC Central. So that was Bears, Packers, Lions, Vikings, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the old creamsicles. We finished 4-11-1 that season.
Yep, I think they went 1-6-1 after Billy Sims got hurt in the Minnesota game, which I watched live, and you know, the story is if he would have got hurt today, he would have been back in 3-4 weeks, and that was just the way it went. But anyways, I called to talk about tonight's game. My apologies for being long-winded.
That's all right.
Listen, here's my thing with the Detroit Lions. Okay, and I said this the other day, even to Lomas. I told him the other day. I said, listen, I've been watching the Lions since 1978. I said, we've seen many of these Kansas City wins and throughout the years. So that wasn't the first time we've seen a great win like that on the road. We saw New England. We saw Matt Patricia beat New England. That was a great win, right? This town was a buzz when Matt Patricia beat New England. And then we came and we lost to Seattle, and then we had our backs against the wall. And that's my thing. You know, the Lions, when their backs are against the wall, all the years I've been watching, they always perform well. And I do think things are different. I really believe that in my heart. But I do caution that, you know, until it's completely done, things aren't different. And Seattle was a game you really needed to win, but they lost. And then their backs are against the wall, and they won. They had an incredible game last week versus who did they play last week? Now I'm forgetting who they played last week.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Atlanta. They beat the Atlanta Falcons. Now this is a game that you need. There's no more winning games when your backs are against the wall. It's time that you learn how to win. You win games, and winning is expected, and divisions are expected, and playoff wins are expected, and then the ultimate championship is expected. The Lions need to take that turn sooner than later, and now it's time. I'm not calling and saying they should do this or they should do this or they shouldn't do this or this guy's no good. What I'm saying is it's time. It's time. No more losing to Seattle and no more playing great against Atlanta because we lost to Seattle. It's time that we take this division. We expect to win these games. We expect. That's what I want to see. I want to see that moment, that game, that play where we can say, you know what, 60 years was erased because of that moment, that play, that game, and this is what we expect all the time. And we're going to win. We're going to win a division. We're going to win playoff games, and that's where it turned. And Lomas agreed. I mean, he agreed. He said when he played in 91 or 92, these guys had so much confidence that they knew they were going to win the game, but it ultimately didn't mean it. Nothing came out of it because they didn't win anything. But this is where the Lions got to take that turn. AB, my apologies for being long-winded. So that's where I stand on today's game. They got to win this game.
So, devil's advocate here. What if they don't?
Well, if they don't, then they got the next week to do what I'm saying right now. But
and if they do,
then if they do, that's a big win if they win tonight. Don't you agree? It's a big win. 3-day rest. A lot of their guys out. That's a big win if they win tonight. Don't you agree?
The short week, the amount of injuries that have piled up, this is they go on the road, beat the Packers for the fourth consecutive time. You look at the rest of the division, the Bears are awful, the Vikings are awful. The Packers are there. Competition obviously has been different. Transitive property doesn't work in sports, but Green Bay at 2-1, what they've done up until this point, a road win against the Bears. We know the Bears aren't good. They lost on the road to the Falcons, and then they beat the Saints once Jameis Winston had to come in and play quarterback and rally from 17 points down. They are also on a short week. They also have their fair share of injuries. Now, I'm with you. Now is the time. This is a great opportunity to go out there and pick up where you left off the last time you visited Lambeau Field, which was sending them home early. They could really make a statement here. You gain a game in the division. You improve to 3-1 throughout the first quarter of the season. That, my friends, is impressive.
Yeah, and you and I have a small disagreement. Last year's Green Bay game there. For me, if the Lions needed that game, I think it would have been a different outcome. They would have played differently. But I don't know that. What I'm saying is, if they win today in Green Bay is a better win than the last game at the end of the year. I'll tell you that, because this means so much more. That as a fan, I really want to see this. I really want to see them turn that corner and be that New England team in 2001 where you went to the season and you went to a couple of Super Bowls, but you never won. You be that team in 2001 where the magic, where that moment came where Bledsoe got hurt and Brady came in. I don't want to see a guy get hurt, but that moment, New England propelled themselves to greatness for the next 15, 20 years. And I want to see that with the Lions. We still have not seen that moment, that play or that game yet that you say, you know what, this is going to take us to that moment. The Pittsburgh Steelers went through that in 1970. They never won. And Chuck Noll. And that moment came when Joe Green said that the offense played so bad that he quit, and the coach had to call him back in, and because he was going to leave. And then next thing you know, they won the Super Bowl 3 months later. Okay, San Francisco in the 70s were losers. They never won anything. Bill Walsh came in and they turned into winners. Right? And we can go on and on. The Lions need. This is important. This is very important to win this game and get these moments to propel us to the next level. We're not there yet. We're not. So that's it, AB. I know you got to finish the show. My apologies. And thank you for the kind words at the beginning of the day. Don't ever do that again. We talk about that all fair, you and I, okay?
All right. That sounds good. We'll play Let's Make a Deal. Here's where the biggest disagreement is. I think that moment took place. I really do. I really do. Because when Seattle had sealed our fate going into Week 18 of last year. And you could have folded your tents. You could have played however you want to play. Because I'm not going to disagree with Freddie. I would compare it to golf. I would compare it to – this is how I compare it to golf and what Freddie's trying to say here. If you're out there in the course and you're playing 9 holes, right, and you're having the best 9 holes of your life, if you're just an average golfer, I figure most people play golf. We're in the mecca of golf in the state. Why wouldn't you play golf? If you are having the best round of your life and maybe you've never broken bogey golf before, maybe you've never broken 40 before, and you walk up to that 9th and final hole of your 9-hole round, and all you've done is made pars, if you make par on this hole, you shoot even par 36. If you make a birdie, you shoot 35 for your best 9 holes of your life. That is a completely different tee shot. Than, hey, I'm a couple over par. I got to clear this ditch right here. I do this all the time, number 9, Sandy Creek. They got this creek that runs up. It's like 280-something to clear. It's a dogleg left. There's a pond and then a creek and bunkers and stuff everywhere. If I'm having a good round, going into number 9, I'll take iron off the tee. If I'm already a couple over par, I'm taking out the big stick and I'm whacking it. We're cutting the corner. We'll see what happens. I did it yesterday. Hit the furthest drive I ever hit on that hole. I was just shy of a greenside bunker. Just absolutely nuked one. But my round was already kind of, in shambles. So what's the difference? Doesn't matter if you lose the ball, right? So that I get. basketball game. You know, you're up 10 or 12, final 5-6 minutes of the game. How are you playing? Are you playing to protect that lead, or are you playing to win? And that's why I could see what Freddie is saying when he brings up Week 18 on the road in Green Bay. You got nothing to lose. It's easy. It's way easier to go out there and play free-spirited, fly around, than versus I have to win to get in. The pressure is different. Yes, I have to make par here to shoot the best round of my life. I have to make these free throws to go up one. If I miss this free throw, if I miss these 2 free throws, we're down 1. It's a lot different. A lot different. So I can understand that. But I think that Green Bay, that nighttime game in Green Bay, where you were already out and your guys didn't quit, and you had the opportunity and you seized that moment to go knock Green Bay out of the playoffs, send Aaron Rodgers packing, shut their season down and send him to New York, completely disrupt their franchise. Yeah, I think that was the moment. I honestly do. For tonight's game, obviously injuries are going to be a big part of it. Can we get, as I was talking with Logan Lamorandier earlier in hour number 2, can we get Jahmyr Gibbs in space a little bit more? And where does this defense pick up? That's what I also want to know. Do they pick up where we left off against Atlanta? Do we revert back to Seattle? That's the identity. The game against Atlanta is the identity this defense needs to have. That hit with Brian Branch, I don't care if it's a penalty. We're going to hit the hell out of you. This is a violent game, not for nice people. I know they want to make, Nickelodeon slime, NFL football, Toy Story football, family friendly. This is not family friendly. These people are not friends. They don't care about your family. They are some of the most athletic, ruthless individuals that we have, and they're compensated handsomely for it. That's what you need. We need to approach this game defensively with almost a reckless abandon. We're not worried about pain. We're not worried about safety. All we're worried about is getting to the quarterback. That's how you win football games. They get to that quarterback. They shut down, even if Aaron Jones plays. They say he should be good. If he plays and they hold Aaron Jones to under 80 yards, statement, because then they did it against Kenneth Walker, Bijan Robinson, and Aaron Jones. Statement for this defense. If they can get after Jordan Love and get a multi-sack effort from multiple individuals, set that tone. Secondary, fly around, smack people in the mouth. Like, that's what it takes. And they make that. They got the icy white jerseys tonight. Oh, they're going to look clean. Let's go. Do it for him one time on a Thursday Night Football, Amazon Prime Video. Let's go.
Let's go, Lions fans. Get a bunch of seats. Get a bunch of seats. Forward on the field, a charging team that will not yield. And when the blue and silver wave, everybody stand into the brave. Rah, rah, rah. Go hard with the game. With honor, you will keep your faith. Down the field and gain a Lions victory. Go Lions!
Let's go. This is the kind of game right here. This is for the season. This is for the people that have been on the wagon the whole time. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning for Victory Friday here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my good friend Matt Golden. Now, he's the CEO and GM at the Tullymore Golf Resort. They're in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids. And fall golf is here, and they have some huge deals you can take advantage of on stay-and-play packages, tee times, and more. Just go to tullymoregolf.com. That is tullymoregolf.com. Also, if you want to book a Christmas party for the holidays, you want to squeeze in a business meeting with some golf and great food and beverages, Matt Golden and his team can take care of you right now. Go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com. They're also booking big groups who want stay-and-play packages, or maybe you just want to look ahead to the perfect weekend in 2024. Remember, Tullymore is less than an hour north of GR in Canadian Lakes, Michigan. Book your stay-and-play package or get more info now at tullymoregolf.com.
We played for the thrill, that rush you feel with the game on the line. I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver. Now, with Eagle Casino and Sports, the new sportsbook app from Soaring Eagle, anywhere I'm at, I'm still in the game.
Sign up now and get up to $1,000. That's right, up to $1,000 for a risk-free bet on your next favorite underdog, parlay, or prop.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
Fuel up for less with M-Perks. Earn points on your purchases when you shop at Meijer in-store and online. Then use your points to claim a fuel reward and save at the pump. Your dollar goes further at the pump with M-Perks. Plus, earn points for all qualifying purchases in the Meijer Express station. And keep a lookout for exclusive Meijer Express offers. Enter your M-Perks ID at checkout to earn. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Wisconsin. Max 30 gallons. Download the Meijer app to sign up or see Meijer.com to learn more.
Join Van Andel Institute Purple Community for the Be Brave 5K Walk and Run in Caledonia on October 7th at 8 a.m. You can participate in a day of fun and exercise, all while supporting breast cancer research at Van Andel Institute. Register at vai.org.
Merck Perks from Mercantile Bank is here. Merck Perks checking has all you need to plan your busy lifestyle. Travel services for hotels, airfare, and cruises, cash back rewards, and even savings on prescriptions, eyewear, and dental work. Merck Perks also includes all the traditional benefits you love, like online and mobile banking, and fee-free access to almost 40,000 MoneyPass ATMs. So when you're ready for perks, Merck is here. Learn more at mymerckperks.com, member FDIC.
Coming up later today at 3, huge opinions on everything I want to talk about. It's the Huge Show at 3